Hi guys, we are back in Kerbal space. Oh look! Oh, there's the moon. Look, it's poking its head round. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Okay, so what we've got here is the perfect opportunity to do some rendezvousing and docking. Ooh, docking.
Oh
Oh,
god.
it's hard. It's really not hard. It's actually really easy. The hard part is the rendezvousing.
Ugh.
Now, little disclaimer. You might want to turn off the infinite fuel because we haven't done that yet. We slightly cheated to get this ship into orbit because we couldn't be asked to do it legit. We could have built an enormous rocket that would have got it up, but there was just no point. But the disclaimer I was going to give, leaving that one entirely aside, was that we did actually do a rendezvous yesterday, and we fouled up the recording a little bit.
To be fair, I fouled up the recording.
Well, I was trying to be nice and share the blame, but all right, if you want to take it all, you shit.
I wasn't going to be that harsh on me, but yeah, fair enough.
So yeah. Anyway, fouled up the recording, and basically the only audio that we got was in-game and Azmeria here. We did not get me. So
I know you.
there was no explanation of what the hell was going on.
Not that you all don't love just listening to my dulcet tones, but
apparently, yeah.
But there is a small advantage in this, in that now we're a bit more practiced, and it won't take an hour.
It did take a long time.
We hope it won't
so,
take an hour anyway.
Let's get into it anyway.
Mm.
So, rendezvousing takes several sort of stages. Sadly, several of them are rinse and repeat, and most of it is all done with maneuver nodes as opposed to mirrors. Yes, I know I made that joke yesterday, but it was a good joke, and they need to hear it.
I was just thinking it's still funny.
You see, it's a good joke. Anyway, so what we need to do is we need to get us into map view.
Right, should we explain the mission briefly?
Yes, that's true.
We are in Thunderbird 3, Mark 1. Anyone who's actually seen Thunderbird should know why we picked 3. And we're going to retrieve our 6 Kerbals from the really funny craft, which we used yesterday to retrieve 3 Kerbals from the Orbital 1. Trouble is, really funny craft also has no fuel left. So we're hoping that this thing will be able to bring them all home.
Yeah. What we've done is we've stuck a little fuel tank on the bottom of it that we can then transfer fuel from into the engine, into the larger tanks on the really funny craft, which then has engines which can then deorbit the ship.
We're going to use this bottom section to do the orbital maneuvering, and then detach it, and then use this fuel tank to fuel, which has no engine, to fuel the engines on the really funny craft, and then bring the whole lot home.
Exactly. But, I mean, that'll be clear when we actually get there. And come to think of it, I'm going to start my stopwatch so that I know how long this episode is running for.
Yeah.
So,
one last thing. Thunderbird
yes.
3 is entirely unmanned. There's a probe core right in the middle. So we're sending a robot to pick up 6 Kerbins.
Kerbals.
Yes.
Kerbin is the planet. If we were sending a robot to pick up 6 of the planet, that would be impressive. Now,
I'm up for that.
Let's get rolling.
Yeah.
So what we want first is we want to... Well, what we've already done is we've chosen the target, which is the ship that we're trying to get to, which is the really funny craft. Now, what this gives us is the green orbit, which is the really funny craft's orbit, highlighted, and the blue orbit, which is ours. And it also gives us a few little markers on it. Now, what we're looking for are the ascending and descending nodes, which are those little green markers on the right-hand side and left-hand side of the planets. That's the descending node, and that one's the ascending node. What that means is that is the points at which the orbital planes, so if you take the orbit as a circle, if you extended that out as a continuous surface, that's the orbital plane, and you've now got 2 that are at weird angles to each other, and they cross over. The ascending and descending nodes are the points at which they cross each other. The descending being when one is going under the other, and where the ascending being when it's the other way around. Obviously, it's relative to the ship that you are actually in at the time. So the descending node is when the ship that you're in at the moment is going below the one that's the target.
And so you can see the planes of all the different orbits of different craft by looking at it side on.
They're really, really screwed up, man. I mean, you just can't do equatorial parking orbits, can you?
Nope.
Well, eventually you'll be able to, because I'll teach you how.
Hold on.
So, the first thing that we need to do is we need to match the planes of the orbits. So at either the ascending or descending nodes, it doesn't really matter which, you need to make a maneuver node. There we go. Now, as I believe the footage where I explained what all these icons actually mean was lost.
For the second time.
Well, technically the footage is still there, but my explaining it isn't. So, let's actually explain what's going on here. These icons all mean different things. The green ones are prograde and retrograde, which most people who've played KSP are probably quite au fait with already. It means forward on your orbit and backwards on your orbit, effectively. Specifically, it actually means prograde is the direction of travel, and retrograde is opposite to the direction of travel. So it isn't technically forward or backwards, because those things don't really mean anything in space. But you know what I mean.
It's all relative, man.
Exactly. Then we've got the blue ones, which are radial plus and minus. Radial plus, if I recall correctly, is the one going out. So that one. And radial minus is the one going in. Basically, they point towards the center of mass of whatever you happen to be orbiting around at the time. And in almost all circumstances, they're completely worthless. All they do is change the altitude of your orbit, and it's almost always much more efficient to use prograde and retrograde for that. There are only very limited situations in which you'd use them, and at some point we may well run into them, but it's rare. So we'll pass those, and then we've got the pink ones. Pink are normal and anti-normal, and those are very useful. They are the ones that we're going to use now. They change the inclination of orbits. Now, at the moment, we are, nice and awkwardly, quite a long way out. We are several degrees out. If you hover over the descending node, it should tell us how many degrees out we are. 12.9. Now, in space, that's a huge amount. Huge. So what we want to do is rotate the view until we're seeing the green one side on. As flat as you can get it. That's pretty perfect. Down a bit more. No, the other way. That's it, yeah. Now, take the pink one on top, which is normal, and drag it up a bit.
I love grabbing the pink one on top.
That's what she said. Okay. Slow it down, that's it. Bring it around. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I know that it's fucked the orbit. It doesn't matter. Keep going. It's alright. Little bit more. The closer we can get this, the better. Okay, that's good. Let go, let go. Now, it's screwing with the orbit a little bit. Or is it? Where's our periapsis and so forth? That's not too bad, actually. Let's do that burn.
Alright,
so maneuver.
Maneuver point on our nav ball.
Yeah, it's going to be there. On the left there.
I see it. It's just taking forever to come around. God. Alright, wrong.
Well, you know, it's not the most balanced of craft that we've got.
No, not really.
I would say turn on the RCS, but we need that later.
Yes. To be fair, the balance of the craft reflects the balance of its owner. Completely imbalanced.
It's true. You are a nut job.
Almost certifiably.
Mm.
Well, the certificate.
Well, I mean, that does describe most of my friends.
Well, let's be fair. The certificate's in the post, so.
Yeah. It's like a tax disc.
Well, it's first class, so we'll only look at my arrive tomorrow. Anyway.
Okay, so we lined up. So we've got 3 minutes. We don't know how long this is going to take. So it's a nuclear engine, 400. I'm going to estimate start burning at about 30 seconds.
So let's get us down to about a minute. And then get back to real time. And
up to you. Let's just make sure we've activated the engine.
Oh yeah, yeah, the engine's on.
Okay. Hey, check your resources quickly. Okay, no problem. Okay, good. I was worried for a second. I forgot we put batteries on it.
Yes. We are on the dark side, but we have batteries. Yes, that would be a slight problem. If we ran out of electricity, then the probe core will stop working. Right. We're on.
It's working again once we reach the
Yeah.
light side. So all we'd need to do is set up the node for the descending node, for the ascending node rather.
Yeah.
But
Right, we're
yeah,
burning.
are you at full? Oh,
Yeah.
you're at full throttle. Yeah, okay. I completely fouled up that estimate, but I haven't really used the nuclear engines very much, so fair enough. It's irrelevant. It will eventually get there.
Yeah, you were too busy piddling with your mathematics rather than being a useful physicist, like a nuclear physicist.
Just because I'd know how to build one of these engines doesn't mean I'd know how it worked. In fact, it's the maths that lets me know exactly how long it will take to burn.
I've handled more nuclear material than you have.
That's entirely possible, yes.
Well,
I haven't handled all that much, really.
used a lot of radioactive markers for DNA probing and stuff.
Probe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probing your DNAs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because DNA is, a singular, and the plural is DNAs. Yep.
That sounds like an enzyme.
It kind of does.
Well, all enzymes end in A's. Well,
yeah,
actually, not all enzymes. Yeah. Yeah, all enzymes end in A's.
This is like the most inefficient possible burn.
Yeah, it's your fault, not mine.
Right. It is a little bit my fault. Well, it's not really the ship that's the issue. It's the fact that we didn't know how long the burn was going to take. If we had known how long the burn was going to take, then it wouldn't have been quite so inefficient.
True. I still blame you.
Because if it was going to take 3 minutes, we would have started at, 2 minutes or so.
I still blame you.
I can't remember if the footage explaining that got destroyed or not.
Explaining what?
Why you start burning before the marker.
It might have done, I'm not sure.
I can't remember if you got it, so I'll recap anyway, just in case. Basically, the maneuver nodes assume instantaneous application of thrust, as in the entire burn happens at the time that you reach the maneuver node. That is, of course, possible. So, after you've had breakfast at Millyway's, you instead split the burn so that the midpoint of the thrust is at the maneuver node, basically. That's a bad way of explaining it. You start it so that half of your thrust is before and half of your thrust is afterwards. It averages out as if it was all applied in the same spot.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your class at this rate. This is also the part where we mentioned I'm the teacher, Charlie isn't.
No, but apparently I'm quite good at this, because I managed to... Again, disclaimer here. This is the part of KSP that I have the least possible experience with. I know how to do it, but I don't really do it myself much. I tend to let MechJeb do it because it's just easier.
To be fair,
and it means you can do it quickly.
To be fair, part of being a good teacher is being a good learner.
Yeah, you learn as you go. It's fine. I know someone who was once teaching, I think, Spanish as a second language, and the only reason that they could teach is that they were 2 lessons ahead of the rest of the class in the book.
That's pretty hilarious. That's apparently as much as we're going to do on this node.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
We might need another node. Oh god, nodes.
Are we still burning?
No, no, I killed it.
Finish off that 7 meters per second. Make it as precise as possible. Kill it. That'll do. That's close enough. Okay, now hover over the descending node. Aha, that's much better. 0.3 degrees out. That is close enough. Kill the node.
Where is the node? There it is.
So now, if you look side on, you'll notice that they are inclined roughly the same. They're slightly out, but it's close enough. That'll even itself out as we go. If we were being obsessive about it, we'd want to do it properly, but we don't care right now.
Just so long as they're not inclined to vote UKIP, we're okay.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think this might be a good point to cut the episode and split it up so it's sort of more bite-sized chunks.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this episode, we changed the inclination of an orbit. That's the easy part.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So we'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.
Toodaloo.